Hello, this presentation is about a plot at Lockwood Farm where we're looking at the use of experimental fungicides for the suppression of Fusarium Wilt on chrysanthemum. I'm Wade Elmer, and this work was assisted by my technician, Mr. Peter Thield. Fusarium Wilt of Chrysanthemum is a destructive disease for Connecticut growers. It's caused by a fungus called Fusarium oxysporum, and many of the growers in the state who grow fall mums are suffering right now from a certain percent losses due to this particular disease. The disease it makes most cultivars unmarketable because even if a portion of a plant is discolored, the entire aesthetics of the pot has been damaged and it becomes unmarketable. Most cultivars are susceptible. There's a range of resistance among them, but unfortunately the ones that are most popular are always the ones that are most susceptible. Management of this disease is very difficult. Generally, fungicides are frequently used, but most are ineffective. You can see in the photograph here, you have several plants that are looking quite well, whereas portions of other ones are starting to succumb to Fusarium, the chlorotic wilting that you see in one side. And then you can see a much more damaging effect down below. So because there's so few available fungicides that are effective for the growers, we've been looking at some experimental fungicides to see if we could test some new chemistries to see how they control Fusarium wilt. So in this study, we had mum cuttings, which we got commercially. Then we rooted them ourselves in potting soil. And after about 2.5 weeks, they had rooted quite well and they were ready for the experiment. These rooted cuttings were then set in pots with the pathogen, and then they were treated with the various fungicides based upon recommendations of the company. These pots were then set out on landscape fabric, and an automatic irrigation system was set up and installed. We would go through and we would make disease ratings every week, and then these disease ratings were integrated over the season, so we came up with a single value that showed how much disease was developing in each pot. Here's an example of one of the plots of those disease ratings. The larger the number, the more disease you see there. So we had a healthy control, which we rated with a number 1, so it still got some value there that represents that it's healthy. But when they were inoculated, you could see the disease is quite high. Then you can look at the range of disease based upon the various products that we looked at. Many of these fungicides only have numbers at this time, so I'm just going to label them 1 through 6. But in this particular study, we saw number 2 was surprisingly effective and not statistically different than the healthy controls. So that was very encouraging. These same products were being used again this year, and we're looking at them in a little bit more detail. Here's a picture of the trials that we did last year, and as you could see, the treatment number 2 was equal to the controls. So it looks like there was something there that was very effective. This was one application put on when the plants were very young. So if you have any further questions about this study or anything about Fusarium diseases of plants, please contact me. I can be reached at wade.elmer@ct.gov, or my telephone number is listed there below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.